CBS.com.
It's 40 past the hour. There is more encouraging news in the battle against Alzheimer's disease. Researchers have created a chemical that could give doctors a way to test for the disorder so they can diagnose it earlier. Once injected, the isotope travels to plaque buildups in the brain called amyloids, believed to cause Alzheimer's.
If we are going to be successful in any way in treating the disease, we first have to identify it at the very, very earliest stage.
Researchers are launching clinical trials, but it could take years before the new test becomes available to the public. In many cities across the country, the air itself can be dangerous to your health. California is one of 13 states that filed suit this week to force the federal government to clean up the soot that comes from smokestacks and exhaust pipes. For some, it can't happen soon enough. John Blackstone reports.
It takes good lungs to be in a marching band anywhere, but it's a particular challenge here in California's San Joaquin Valley.
Oh, I would say probably 20 or 30 kids probably have asthma in the band.
But asthma is common on the football team, too. When the air is particularly bad, Coach Mike Vogt takes his players inside to practice.
Football's not a game to be played indoors, but that's a possibility.
It's changed the way you coach, the air quality?
No doubt.
Outside of Los Angeles, this stretch of farmland and small cities has the worst air pollution in the United States. 1 child in 6 has asthma, more than 3 times the national average.
Once in a while I start to cry because I think I'm going to die.
Brothers Robert and Ryan McVicker both have asthma.
It's like something's just punching your throat and you stop breathing and like you can't get air.
Their mother has no doubt the valley's heavy pollution is to blame.
I know that my kids are having to live in this air, and it's only going to get worse if we don't get some help.
The 240-mile-long San Joaquin Valley is in part a victim of geography. It's a huge bowl. Polluted air has nowhere to go. On days like this, it's so dirty here, you can almost see the thick air you're breathing. The hot gases are trapped in the valley and baked in the sun, creating a dangerous mixture. Sprawling suburbs, busy roads, and intense agriculture all foul the air.
Essentially, the valley has a chronic disease, and it's called pollution. And when you have a chronic disease, you have to change the way you live your life if you want to survive.
As part of the change, people here check the air quality forecast the way others check the weather. Air quality flags go up each morning at schools, telling kids how safe it is to breathe. Each color has its own degree of warning. On red days, when pollution is particularly bad, kids like Robert and Ryan wait until early evening to play outside when the air is a bit cleaner. And you love to run.
Yeah.
So it must make you mad when you can't.
Yeah. Makes me really mad.
Efforts to clean up the air are underway, but they'll take years, not soon enough to let this generation breathe easy. John Blackstone, CBS News in the San Joaquin Valley.
For too many Americans, there's no escape from the elements, no matter how good or bad. Today in Washington and across the country, the National Coalition for the Homeless will hold a National Homeless Persons Memorial Day Vigil to remember those who died while living on the streets. Michael Stoops is the group's acting executive director, and he joins us from our Washington bureau with more. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Megan.
Tell me more about what's planned for today.
Well, when you're homeless in this country, you can live anonymously. And likewise, when you die, your death can go unnoticed, and oftentimes a homeless person's name is not in any obituary. So this is one time during the year where we can remember those who have died homeless in America, and the numbers are staggering, and we won't know until the end of this year how many people have died. But here in Washington, D.C., we will be reading at least the names of 35 homeless men, women, and children who have died homeless.
Several years ago, it seemed Americans were more in tune to the problem of homelessness. Is that still the case, or did the public pick up new causes?
we have been an issue in modern day America for 25 years, and there's been ups and downs. But I would say in the last couple of years, a lot more Americans and politicians and clergy are concerned about the growing problem of homelessness and why does it continue to be so. So Americans wonder why we have human beings living and dying on our city streets and sidewalks.
Americans are very generous after a disaster. Hurricane Katrina is a perfect example of that, how people came together to help the victims. Why is it so hard to get that kind of support for the homeless across the country?
I think Americans have grown accustomed to having homeless people living right in front of them, and Americans have a wrong belief that charity alone will solve homelessness and poverty. You know, you can go and feed homeless people or shelter homeless people, but unless we attack the root causes of homelessness and poverty in this country, we will continue to have homelessness increasing here in America.
What is the number one cause?
All experts agree that the lack of affordable housing is the number one cause of homelessness, because after all, homelessness is a housing issue. If people had homes, they would not be living on the streets. And 40% of the nation's homeless live outside, and living outside is dangerous, and it's also bad for your health. And during the wintertime, you can freeze to death.
And today is the first day of winter. Unfortunately, during this time of year, people tend to think of the homeless. But how can you extend it past the holidays?
Well, I used to be cynical when people would only think about homeless people during Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Easter. But at least people are doing good one day during the year. We continue to try to make Americans aware that homelessness is not just a holiday issue, a winter issue. It's a year-round issue, and many times our shelters and soup kitchens were overwhelmed with volunteers for those special days. And I tell people when they call, well, we have enough volunteers, but can I sign you up for February 12th or July 16th? And many times I have dead silence.
Well, how can people get involved with today's vigil?
Well, in 80 cities around the country, at least 80 cities, there are events happening today. If people contact the National Coalition for the Homeless by going to our website, nationalhomeless.org, and emailing us, I can put them in touch with events that are happening beginning today and throughout the weekend.
All right, and you mentioned your website, and if there's anything else that people want to do around the year, is there anything else that you'd recommend?
Well, we always need blankets and coats. We always need volunteers throughout the year. I think with a new Congress, we need to try to make ending poverty in America a political issue with a new Congress. So we need to do more than just charity. We need to lobby our members of Congress to end homelessness in America.
All right, Michael Stoops, Acting Executive Director of the National Coalition for the Homeless. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
We'll be right back. This is CBS News, Up to the Minute.
Every year, tar and creosote buildup causes thousands of chimney fires. Help protect your home with CSL Creosote Sweeping Log, now accepted by the Chimney Safety Institute of America. Each time you use your fireplace, flammable tar and creosote builds up and can catch fire. Simply burn CSL like a regular log. Its active minerals will dry out and reduce dangerous tar and creosote deposits, making your home safer. Get CSL Creosote Sweeping Log.
Available at Target, Rite Aid, Walgreens, and Supercenters.
People could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance by switching to Geico. It says here, new customers report average annual savings of over $500.
Easy money.
Easy money. You do have to go to geico.com.
Which is like what? Asking you to stand up? Hello there, you know, if you stand up, you could save loads of money. I doubt you're going to be like, no thanks, I'm so rich, I think I'll keep my seat.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I'm a nurse, and washing my hands all day makes my skin raw.
Gold Bond Ultimate Healing Lotion. 7 intensive moisturizers and 3 vitamins.
It works better than any lotion I've ever used.
Can your lotion do that?
Gold Bond Ultimate. This stuff really works.
I barely have time for myself anymore, but Airwick Aromatherapy scented oils in essential oil fragrances like calming, soothing, and relaxation help me unwind and feel at ease. Airwick, it's good to be home.
Introducing new men's Rogaine foam. The first and only foam that's FDA approved to regrow hair. It goes on easy and dries quickly. So now getting your hair back could be the easiest part of your routine. New men's Rogaine foam. Use it or lose it.
Coming up, it's a multi-billion-dollar scam. Crooks cashing in by fraudulently returning products at your expense. We'll show you how to keep from being ripped off coming up on The Early Show.
A CBS News exclusive. Kelly James tried to conquer a giant. Instead, Mount Hood claimed him. Tonight, his wife Karen talks one-on-one with Katie Couric about her husband, their life together, and his lifelong passion to reach for the sky. See why more people are watching the CBS Evening News.
A soldier comes home from Iraq and vanishes Saturday.
The U.S. ambassador to South Korea says we could know by early next year whether North Korea is serious about giving up its nuclear programs. As six-way talks continue in China to end the standoff with Pyongyang, we turn our attention to the man at the center of the storm. CBS's Barry Peterson writes in on the reclusive leader, Kim Jong-il.
I'm Barry Peterson, and this letter from Asia comes from Beijing. It's easy to know what Kim Jong-il is up to on the world stage. He seems to delight in doing things like setting off nuclear explosions or insulting the United States. But what about his private life? Those who know him say you can sum it up in one phrase: party guy. Maybe he doesn't look it, but let's face it, the guy spends a lot of time being ominous and making the world nervous. And he has his finger on the nuclear button since the North tested a nuclear device in October. To find out a bit more, we sought out Kinji Fujimoto, a Japanese who found favor with Kim as a sushi chef in the 1980s and wrote 3 books: Kim's Chef, Kim's Private Life, and our personal favorite title, The Honorable General Who Loved Nuclear Weapons and Girls. He liked disco music, says Fujimoto, adding, Kim didn't like to dance, but he made everyone else dance. Fujimoto probably inspired the U.S. and Japan's recent list of sanctions against North Korea, cutting off things like Kim's caviar, luxury cars, and booze. When he has a party, says Fujimoto, he wants people drunk because he doesn't like gloomy parties. Those around Kim like the parties because that's when they get presents. Presents he uses to keep their loyalty. The most expensive present, he says, is a Mercedes-Benz or an expensive leather sofa or a big screen TV. You would think that a leader who heads a million-man army would be busy with affairs of state. Well, maybe he is a bit more these days than in his youth, because youth has slipped away. Now in his mid-60s, he may be suffering from high blood pressure and diabetes. And his dad, known as the Great Leader, once ran the country and died at 82 of a heart attack. He doesn't drink much whiskey anymore, says Fujimoto. Now it's mostly wine, and he likes sweets and tries not to eat too much chocolate. There you have it, a wine-sipping, chocolate, calorie-counting dear leader. All right, it's fun to laugh at Kim as long as you remember that he keeps power with his nuclear weapons program and constant threats of war. Disco guy? Party guy? Well, maybe. Scary guy on the world stage? Of that, there is no doubt. From Beijing, I'm Barry Peterson, CBS News.
Here's a look at your Thursday weather. The latest satellite picture shows that massive storm system spiraling over the nation's heartland, with snow still blowing across the western high plains. Skies are also gray across the Ohio and Tennessee valleys where it's rainy. The northwest coast is also wet. Later today, snow will taper to flurries over Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska, but will remain windy and cold. It will be raw and rainy across the lower Midwest, while storms will dampen the Gulf Coast. The Northwest mountains will see some snow.
Zoo Lights lights up the night, now through December 31st at Oregon Zoo. Walk through a shining, sparkling winter wonderland where more than 200 animated animals come to life in lights. Ride the Zoo Lights train, meet elves and their animal friends, and enjoy the scrumptious holiday buffet. Go to coin.com and click on Zoo Lights for tickets and information. Zoo Lights, a Northwest holiday tradition, presented by Boeing Company and Coin News 6.
Come to Furniture Outlet this month and find the perfect gift. Make room for all your holiday guests with a new Serta mattress or that special dining set. Get ready to watch the big game with a new recliner or a new entertainment center. We've got great holiday deals on all of them. We only sell the world's best mattress, Serta, twin, queen, or king, all at the lowest prices of the year. And pay no interest till 2009.
Get what you want
at a price you'll love. Only at Furniture Outlet.
Is it time to paint your home? Beware of sloppy work. Be aware of Weinman Painting.
Quality people, great details on the bid. They'll do what they say what they do. I mean, the work is great.
For interior painting, call Weinman Painting now.
I can't imagine hiring anybody else. Who's the best painting company in town? Weinman Painting. It's perfect.
Weinman Painting, making homes beautiful since 1996.
Families and photos, the two are inseparable. Two other things that always go together, Nikon cameras and Pro Photo Supply. Whether it's Nikon's state-of-the-art digital SLRs or easy-to-use Coolpix point-and-shoot cameras, you can rely on Nikon for the best technology. And you can always trust Pro Photo Supply for the biggest Nikon selection at the absolute best prices. So if you've been thinking about a new Nikon camera, the time to buy is now. And the place? Well, just remember the one name that says it all, Pro Photo Supply.
As hundreds of disabled Iraq war vets face steep challenges on their road to recovery, some are learning how to find that feeling of freedom again. CBS's Harry Smith reports.
Getting off the lift, that was my biggest issue.
When you've been a Marine for 17 years and go by the name Spanky, there's probably not a lot you haven't been through. So learning to ski with one leg didn't scare Spanky Gibson. He knows a little about fear and a whole lot about courage.
It can always be worse. I mean, I've known that from the beginning. The first time I saw it, I didn't have a leg at the end of my stump, under my covers. I was just like, well, that's life. Let's start moving forward.
Spanky lost his leg to a sniper in Iraq. Since then, he's learned to walk again, and bike, and even golf. The week before he came to Colorado to ski, he was in a triathlon.
What does it mean for you to be able to get your body back?
I've got two roads that I can take. I can loathe myself in self-pity and do nothing and not walk again or not do anything like this again, or I can be positive and I can do everything that I think I can, that's possible to do.
Gibson is one of dozens of disabled Iraq war vets who came to Breckenridge at the invitation of the Wounded Warrior Project and Disabled Sports USA. It's a way to restore some of what's been lost on the battlefield.
When you're coming down the slope like that, what's the sensation for you?
Oh, it's freedom.
Many of these vets have spent more than a year in hospitals and rehabilitation. And even with an army of volunteers and the best equipment available, falling and failure are real possibilities.
This is the first mountain for them. This is the first mountain in their next step of recovery. But I can tell you, they're scared.
Natasha McKinnon was coaxed into coming here by the staff at Walter Reed Army Hospital.
This is a great experience. This is my first time. This is the first time skiing, so I'm enjoying myself very much.
An IED ripped through Natasha's Humvee in Iraq. She lost a leg, and her body will always be riddled with shrapnel. None of that is important now as Natasha skis free from the tethers of her instructors for the first time in her life. To lose a limb in a war, it would be easy to be bitter, to be angry. Instead, on the mountainside, we found joy.
That was a workout.
Do you feel lucky to be alive?
Oh, of course. No, that's the most important thing we have, right? Is life. So I'm going to live it to the fullest and have the best time I can.
They say they teach skiing here. It seems like a whole lot more than that.
Nice job.
Harry Smith, CBS News, Breckenridge, Colorado.
Thank you for joining us.
Is Britney's bad behavior influencing her little sister? Next ET.
Now on CBS News, up to the minute.
Roads are closed all the way to Kansas.
Blizzard conditions in Colorado and the Plains bring travel to a standstill for millions just days before the holiday weekend.
Is the fact that I know my decisions have caused young men and women to lose their lives.
But President Bush insists he will not pull U.S. troops out of Iraq and instead is planning on a big increase. Good morning from CBS News headquarters in New York. This is Up to the Minute. I'm Meg Oliver. Today is officially the first day of winter, and Mother Nature is making her presence felt, especially over Colorado. Governor Bill Owens has declared a state of emergency and called up the National Guard as a powerful blizzard paralyzed Denver and the surrounding communities. Schools and even some major shopping malls are closed. Hundreds of miles of highways are off limits. Denver International Airport, a hub for thousands of cross-country flights, is closed. Last night's Denver Nuggets basketball game was canceled. In all, 6 states from New Mexico to Wyoming are feeling the chill. Rick Salinger of KCNC in Denver has more.
It was a snowstorm forecasters were describing in terms of feet, not just inches. Stranded travelers stretched out on hundreds of cots. The trouble is, there were thousands of people. With a blizzard raging outside, everyone made do as best they could.
We've just taken all of our blankets and put them on the ground and all of our clothes and just tried to make it kind of like a bed to sleep on.
If comfort was in short supply, so was patience. But a space on the floor was far better than being out in the cold.
I got an outlet, I got some electronics to play with. I'd be happy.
It's comfortable, we're making the best of it. So it's a nice airport too.
It didn't seem very nice on this day. Canceled flights created scenes of near chaos. Passengers scrambled to rebook, finding that a difficult task just before Christmas. Margie Clearup was trying to get to Orange County, California.
You gotta go all the way around there, across the bridge, and over there.
The airport said it had plenty of food and supplies, but urged people to stay away.
You know, they said it wasn't supposed to be as bad as the blizzard of March of '03, but it certainly feels like it is right now.
Some seem to take it all in stride.
And as long as we've got no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
The best guess is 4,700 people are stranded here at this airport, and I must tell you, not everyone seems to share that enthusiasm that we saw. Meg?
Man, talk about terrible timing for holiday travelers. Rick, any idea when the airport will reopen?
The snow continues to come down very heavily, and the best guess is the earliest they could open this airport is sometime this evening.
All right, KCNC's Rick Salinger in Denver. Thank you so much. Blizzard-like conditions over Oregon's Mount Hood forced rescue teams to face the inevitable and call off the search for 2 missing climbers. The local sheriff choked back tears, but said he couldn't put the lives of the rescue teams in danger. CBS's Terry Okita reports.
The chance of survival is pretty nil.
The sheriff says he saw no signs of tracks, snow caves, or debris from the men, and the decision to make it a recovery effort was made after talks with the men's families. 37-year-old Hall and 36-year-old Cook were last seen on Mount Hood with their climbing companion Kelly James on December 11th. James was found dead on Sunday in a snow cave near the 11,000-foot summit. Snow and freezing rain have hampered search efforts, and volunteer groups have been scaled back. An avalanche team and search dogs remain on standby for when the storms lift.
As the weather and resources are available to us, we are going to continue to try to locate those 2 climbers.
Pictures taken by James show they were not well equipped for a long stay. For authorities, although all hope is not lost, it has greatly diminished, and reality is sinking in. Terry Okita, CBS News.
President Bush says victory in Iraq is still achievable, although he refused to guess how long it would take, how many American troops might be killed, or how much money it will cost the United States Treasury. The Pentagon, on the other hand, has an answer to the last question. Military leaders are pressing the president to ask Congress for another $100 billion to fund the war in Iraq and, to a lesser extent, Afghanistan. That would bring this year's overall spending on the wars to $170 billion. That's more than $3 billion a week. Last year, the Pentagon was spending only $2 billion a week on the two wars. White House officials say they don't want the money included in the regular Pentagon budget. They prefer so-called emergency supplemental spending bills, which are largely outside congressional oversight. President Bush summoned reporters to the old Executive Office building across the street from the White House for his annual end-of-the-year news conference. The chief topic, Iraq. The president said public and congressional opposition to the war would not stop him from ordering a big increase in U.S. troops. CBS's Jim Axelrod reports.
President Bush admitted the insurgents have had quite a run in Iraq, and that 2006 has been a difficult year for U.S. troops. But he gave no indication of any plans to bring those troops home anytime soon.
United States.
In fact, it was just the opposite. Mr. Bush is weighing a surge of thousands more U.S. troops to suppress sectarian violence in Iraq, saying the mission in Iraq is the calling of our time.
But I also know it's the right decision for America to stay engaged and to take the lead and to deal with these radicals and extremists.
The president spoke as his new defense secretary, Robert Gates, was in Iraq, feeling out commanders who worry a surge would delay Iraqis from taking control of their own security.
It's clearly a consideration. I think that the commanders out here have expressed a concern about that.
The Americans' top commander in Iraq, George Casey, says he's not opposed to a surge if the mission is defined. But the incoming chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee says absolutely not.
Congress, it's got to be the President of the United States who's got to end this blank check to the Iraqis, who's got to tell the Iraqis not that we're going to add troops, but that, as a matter of fact, starting in 4 to 6 months, we're going to begin to reduce troops in Iraq.
Clearly, Mr. Bush still doesn't see the last election as a call to reduce U.S. troop levels in Iraq, despite recent polls indicating just that.
Are you still willing to follow a path that seems to be in opposition to the will of the American people?
I am willing to follow a path that leads to victory.
While Mr. Bush hasn't decided exactly what that path will look like, he did take a step back, responding emotionally when asked how Iraq is affecting him.
The most painful aspect of the presidency is the fact that I know my decisions have caused young men and women to lose their lives.
Mr. Bush always says when it comes to troop levels, he defers to his commanders. Today, a shift, talking about a possible troop surge. The president said the commanders' voices are just one set of many he's listening to. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, the White House.
More news ahead. This is Up to the Minute.
Christmas Day, find a seat next to the window for a view of America you can only get from the road.
Hey, ready to go?
Jeff Gianola takes you cross-country by bus. Presented by Les Schwab. Christmas Day at 5 p.m. on KOIN News 6.
Let the magic show begin at the Willamette Vein Center. For the legs you've always wanted, visit the Willamette Vein Center.
Brad.
Ashley.
Hey, you look great. What's it been, like 4 years?
4.5.
Do you still have that big leather sofa?
Yes, I do. That was a good sofa.
Need to buy furniture? Save up to 80% off retail sale prices. Upscale consignment. The smart way to buy. The easy way to sell.
You must be Candy. No.
You must be a sales lady who I've never met.
Precision Truss and Lumber, serving Portland Metro's home builders and general contractors since 1971. Our full-service lumber division offers complete building packages from the ground up. From framing, hardware, and engineered floor systems to siding, windows, doors, and specialty products. On-time delivery, digital engineering technology, accuracy, quality products, and industry know-how. These priorities make customer care and satisfaction our #1 goal at Precision Truss and Lumber. Whether you're a professional cabinet maker or a weekend wood butcher, Crosscut Hardwoods is your home for specialty lumber and plywood. Over 100,000 board feet of domestic and imported hardwoods. Truly a woodworker's candy store. For the finest in wood, make sure it's from Crosscut Hardwoods.
It's 10 past the hour. President Bush used his last news conference of the year to prepare the American people that more difficult times are ahead for U.S. forces in Iraq. Mr. Bush acknowledged that insurgents had been successful in fomenting sectarian violence, which in turn has slowed U.S. plans for reconstruction. While the president fielded questions from reporters Wednesday, his new defense secretary, Robert Gates, made an unannounced trip to the war zone to discuss options with senior military commanders in the field. So what will the new year bring for the U.S. in Iraq? John Pike is the director of globalsecurity.org, a defense and security information website. He joins us from our Washington bureau. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Meg.
Mr. Bush said again today that he's considering expanding the Army and the Marine Corps. How large an expansion do you think he'll call for, and how much is needed to help now?
Well, it's very difficult to say. Several years ago, the Army embarked on an expansion program to increase the number of combat brigades that they could deploy to Iraq under the theory that they wanted to be able to sustain the present force level indefinitely. Now it's looking like possibly this force level, the 140,000 that they've had over there, isn't going to do the trick. Some people are talking about possibly an additional 30,000 troops being deployed to Iraq in the near term. That's probably going to require an increase in the total number of troops, soldiers in the Army, total number of Marines in the Marine Corps to be able to sustain that force level without putting too great of a strain on the individual troops.
But John, we keep hearing from some of the top generals that Iraq can't be won militarily. So does it make sense to send in more troops?
Well, it can't be won militarily, but it can certainly be lost militarily. I mean, getting a handle on the security situation is one fundamental element of pacification, stabilization of the country. Getting a political agreement with the Sunni, disaffected former Ba'athists is another important element of it, and we've seen a beginning of that recently when Iraqi Prime Minister Maliki offered an amnesty to former Saddam general officers who didn't have blood on their hands. And I think that that's a major step towards the political component of the settlement. But getting a lid on the violence, the sectarian violence in Baghdad particularly, if they can't solve that problem, none of these other problems are going to get solved either.
Does it handicap the Iraqi security forces if we keep sending in more troops and that way they can't stand on their own?
Well, I think that what we've seen over the last several years is that they have an improved ability to stand, but they right now literally do not have the ability to stand on their own. The priority has been with getting Iraqi combat forces. They do not have a robust logistics or supply formations right now, and in many respects they're completely dependent on the Americans for those supply functions. It's going to be several more years before they can take on that themselves.
Defense Secretary Gates visited Iraq on just his third day on the job. What are his priorities?
Well, I think his number one priority has to be to try to understand what can be done to break the cycle of violence in Iraq, particularly in Baghdad. The number of people being killed is several times what it was at the beginning of the year. That number is not going up, but it's not going down, and I think the main focus right now is to try to figure out what it's going to take to make that number go down.
Well, speaking of that, Iraq has turned into such a complex war. What is the most important mission facing the Bush administration right now?
Well, it has to be to break this cycle of violence, to get the numbers heading in the right direction, and to do something about moving along the path of getting a political settlement to keep this country together.
What kind of strategy do you think Mr. Bush will lay out in the new year?
Well, unfortunately, it's probably going to look an awful lot like what they have been doing. You may see some greater emphasis on training, some greater emphasis on trying to get a political solution, but the fundamental problem is that what they have been doing thus far is pretty close to what they can do. It's just a question of whether it's going to work and how quickly it's going to work.
The Pentagon is asking for about $100 billion more to fund the war in Iraq. Between Iraq and Afghanistan, we spent $500 billion. Do you see that letting up anytime soon?
Probably not. If you look at the pattern of violence that we've seen in Iraq, if you look at the way the situation in Afghanistan continues to deteriorate, you would have to conclude that in both of these wars, if we're lucky, we're still closer to the beginning of the war than the end.
So could this be a turning point for the Bush administration as they get ready to look at new strategies? We have a new defense secretary. It seems like they're making a lot of progress, at least behind closed doors at this point.
Well, I think they're certainly going to try to make it appear to be a significant turning point. Obviously, they read the recent election here in the United States as being a vote of no confidence in Mr. Rumsfeld's handling of the war. And to the extent that they can, they're going to want to repackage the war, rebrand it, make people think that this is the new and improved war in Iraq, not that bad old war that they were so unhappy with under Mr. Rumsfeld. So they're going to have a hard time doing that.
All right, John. John Pike, Director of GlobalSecurity.org. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
Paula Sela is a real Geico customer, not an actor. So to help tell her story, we hired that announcer guy from the movies.
When the storm hit, both our cars were totally underwater.
In a world where both of our cars were totally underwater.
We thought it would take forever to get some help.
But a new wind was about to blow.
With Geico, we had our check in 2 days.
Payback. This time, it's for real.
Geico. Real service, real savings.
Now I can get fresh herbs all year round with the Gourmet Chia Herb Garden. It contains everything you need to grow fresh herbs right in your own kitchen. And with the patented Chia growing sponge, you don't have to bother with messy potting soil. Just place a moistened Chia sponge in each clay pot, sprinkle on the herb seeds, water, and watch it grow. It's fresh herbs that make the difference in my cooking. And with the Gourmet Chia Herb Garden, fresh herbs are always at my fingertips. I bought one for my mother, my friend, and myself.
Available at Walgreens, Target, CBS, and Kmart.
Watch out! That hot dish can slip, causing a big mess. You need the UV Glove, now with non-slip silicone grips for great protection and control from the oven to the stove. It's made from the same flame-resistant material used by firefighters, Nomex and Kevlar by DuPont. This tough material resists intense heat up to 540 degrees. The UV Glove is perfect for the barbecue or hot jobs around the house, even arranging logs in the fireplace. The UV Glove, now with non-slip silicone grips.
The UV Glove is available at Target, Rite Aid, CVS, and Linens and Things.
Tell her how your love has grown with the Journey pendant for $89. The Jewelry Exchange imports diamonds direct from site holders and manufactures jewelry using the latest technology. Compare the top chain store's 91-point platinum band for $4,100 with the Jewelry Exchange's 1 carat for $13.90. 2-carat Tunnel of Love bracelets are $3.99, 3-stone $139, and 1-carat studs $3.99. The Jewelry Exchange guarantees their jewelry to appraise for double. Buy factory direct and save. The Jewelry Exchange with superstores nationwide.
A CBS News exclusive. Kelly James tried to conquer a giant. Instead, Mount Hood claimed him. Tonight, his wife Karen talks one-on-one with Katie Couric about her husband, their life together, and his lifelong passion to reach for the sky. See why more people are watching the CBS Evening News.
Coming up, it's a multi-billion-dollar scam. Crooks cashing in by fraudulently returning products at your expense. We'll show you how to keep from being ripped off coming up on The Early Show.
CBS News. See it now, anytime, anywhere.
It's 18 past the hour. Top stories and up to the minute. Colorado's governor declares a state of emergency as a powerful winter storm shut down much of the state. As much as 3 feet of snow is expected by the time the storm ends later today. The Pentagon is asking for another $100 billion to fund the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Those battles would then have cost the U.S. $170 billion this year alone. And the shuttle Discovery is scheduled to land tomorrow, but the weather forecast for landing sites in Florida and California is not looking good. With concern rising over the recent North Korean nuclear test, a new intricate missile defense system could be put in place for the U.S. any day now. But the billion-dollar system designed to protect America from nuclear warheads is coming under a different kind of fire. CBS's Armin Katayan investigates.
It looks like a giant golf ball teed up atop a massive oil rig, 28 stories tall in all, able to detect an object as small as a real golf ball, 2,500 miles away. The new sea-based X-band radar, SBX for short, is the eyes of the next generation of U.S. missile defense. A system designed to detect, track,
2, 1,
and ultimately knock nuclear warheads out of the sky. Its eventual home here under the likely path of any North Korean nukes fired at targets inside the United States.
is quite wonderful. It's very powerful radar, good resolution.
But it won't come cheap. $1 billion and counting, making the billion-dollar question. Can the SBX not only detect a hostile threat, but do